Hello, it is Comrade Snake. Happy to be back. It's been a while, been very, very busy, but finally managed to finish up turn 3, the 10 a.m. turn of scenario 3 of Into the Woods. This is the morning action at Shiloh Church. A lot has, of course, happened. This was kind of gearing up for the start of the Confederate main attack. So a couple things, the important things to note before I get into the details here. One, the initiative was a tie, so there was nobody got to call a chit draw, so it was totally random. And that'll bring us to roll into that's pretty important that there was no one got to say on who went first. It could have changed how things went to some extent potentially. Though I don't know, because the Confederates probably, if they had initiative, might have started with Hindman, which is what happened. Then again, starting with Clark would have also made sense to push the center, but before the Sherman's boys could shoot on them, which was probably what would have happened. It's been a few days, so I don't remember what my exact thought process was at the very beginning of the turn, but regardless, Hindman drew the first two activations. So Shaver and Wood commenced their attack, and it was a complete disaster, or near a complete disaster. Shaver's men were basically just evaporated, like water onto the rocks against Wraith here. So yeah, no good on their attack. Woods boys did some fire exchange and kind of held this area, but didn't make a concerted push just because without Shaver's men to back him up, they didn't feel confident in it, or even their eminence. I should say actually something I didn't do yet. I've ended the turn, but I didn't actually check for combat ineffectiveness and stuff like that. I'm gonna do that, all that cleanup phase. Maybe after this, we'll see. Let me get into it. Then I'll go into the other stuff. But they're obviously tired, which didn't help things in their push for attack. So Hindman had attempted to do a brigade coordination for the attack on Wraith. He failed, but he didn't get a retain, so it was just regular. So the attack, so he started with Shaver, and then Wood went after, but Shaver's didn't go well, so the uncoordinated piecemeal attack failed. And Wraith is still standing perfectly strong. He elected on the few advances. I guess I should say, efficiency-wise, Confederates drew very well, and the Union drew decent. They had a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 2, which is pretty good. And then we had a 3, 4, 3. But anyway, so Hindman's attack stalled. Not really much else to there other than they tried to get some fire to kind of help deal with the center. Before I get to the center, let's actually whip around to the other flank. So Pond, I should say Ruggles. Let's just go over Ruggles because that'll explain what's going on here. So Pond, of course, advanced to try to dislodge the Federals from the hill up here, the ridgeline. Didn't work. Anderson, meanwhile, his brigade completely cracked open the thin Union line that was up here. You can go back and see. And then they had a choice to make when they were here. Do they move to support Pond and crush this Union forces up here, or do they turn towards the main Union line and help with that attack? Ruggles decided it made more sense to support the main effort. Pond, even if he can't dislodge the Federals, will at least be a distraction, and they won't be able to do much while they're just sitting over there, and his men can race to the rear here and help deal with the Federals, which brings us to the center. Of course, Cleburne's old brigade is gone. They've moved back. So Cheatham and Clark went for the attack. Cheatham, he kept getting pulled before Clark, and it kind of messed up a little bit about how I would have wanted to bring them in. So Cheatham is now sort of in a pseudo reserve because he wasn't really in position to commence the attack. Clark's boys were much closer to their attack position. But anyway, so they eventually finally did start it up, moved in for shock, didn't manage to push the Union back, but didn't break them, didn't rout them, just made that they're just all very disorganized. They're just very disorganized and barely holding on to this front line. Clark was able to kind of use his last activation to reorganize his guys and get some of them back into good order so that they could continue pushing. I think this one is, no, because they spent an entire turn just doing that. But these guys did move a little bit, so they're at fatigue 2. That's Russell. Stewart on the, oops, oh no, got everyone disheveled. Oh, geez. Okay. So Stewart on the, over here, was actually killed by Union Fire, approach fire. So he's a replacement now, but continuing the attack nonetheless. Stewart wasn't exactly that great anyway. But they'll continue to try to push, and then we're going to slam right into Veach in the back here, who managed to deploy a new defensive line to try to hold off this attack. Though now he's going to have to deal with his flank getting hit too, so I don't know how that's going to go down. Who knows what's going to happen here. I think Wraith might actually try to maybe go for a counterattack, but that does seem a little risky. So, and of course Grant has arrived in the field and is grouped up with Sherman to help provide some command efficiency when the time comes. Everyone else moved up. So that's the general gist of it. Pretty eventful turn. So I'm gonna level though. There's so much to do here, and I don't know if I have it in me to finish out the next turn, because I got some of that new stuff, and I kind of want to get Salerno to the table. So I'm gonna have a think on it. My next video is either going to be the final phase of this scenario, or I'm gonna roll straight into Salerno, just because I don't know how much more. The system is great. I really enjoy playing it. But I want other stuff that I want to get to, and then I'll probably come back to Into the Woods after, but I really want to get to some other stuff that I've been meaning to play. But this has been a fun time. So we'll see where it goes with my next video, next few days or so, and I'll get back to you on all that. But this was turn 3. It was pretty interesting. This is still, I think, anyone's game, because the Confederates still need to make it a little farther to get some more victory points, but it's going to be probably a close run thing, but, who knows. So we'll see where I end up, if I decide I want to continue or not, on the next video, but catch you later.